The previous round of the Mountain Dew ATV Motocross Championship was the perfect day for Chad Wienen. Riders in front of him crashed. Wienen moved forward, and when he took the lead here at Moto 1, he was setting sail not only on a race day victory, but locking up his third straight ATV Motocross National Championship as well. In Moto 2, he got out front early again, putting the icing on a championship cake. The likes of Josh Upperman and John Natale were left to battle for second, but one round remains. And with Wienen already securing the title, everyone wants to go out on a high note today at the most prestigious race of all. Time for the granddaddy of them all, or maybe I should say the grandmommy. It's Loretta Lynn's ranch in Hurricane Mills, Tennessee, the Can-Am ATV Dirt Days National, longest-running event in the Mountain Dew ATV Motocross Championship. Yes, legends are born here, both on two wheels and four. We had the Amateur National Finals for bikes with perfect weather last weekend, but look at this. Huge rain on Friday has led our track crew to really start digging deep, literally to fix this place up. Speaking of digging deep, the 88 Live to Ride Foundation hosting a charity spaghetti dinner and auction. This raises money for a mobile medical center and a nurse that's on hand at every one of these rounds so the riders can get checked up at the track with familiar faces instead of having to go to the hospital if they get injured. All done in the memory of Matt Bartosik. Now on race day, everyone has to put their competitor hats back on and fight each other for the same thing, and that is a win in the mud. So the team's working very hard to prep the machines to get through the rough day. Fans, meanwhile, seem to be enjoying themselves as they sample some sponsor product. Let's talk to Chad Wienen. 6 wins already this year and the championship.
We're going to come in this weekend the same that we do every weekend. We're going to come in here and compete for race wins, and championship's already wrapped up, but we're going to come here and try and take care of business. It's been a couple years since I've won here, and we've been having to deal with mud for the last 2 years, and I'm going to enjoy the ride this year, and it's going to be the last one, so I'm going to get everything I got to hopefully end on a strong note.
Ah, yes, end on a strong note to serve notice for 2015. That's what Joel Hetrick would like to do today.
What's up, guys? We're here at Loretta Lynn's, last race of the season. Coming in, I have an 11-point lead over third place. I want to finish strong and get to second place overall for the season. Hopefully we can get a win. If not, we just try to stay consistent and finish off strong.
Hetrick and Wienen among several riders hoping to log the fastest lap time today in our Can-Am qualifiers, and we'll have highlights of that on a muddy racetrack right after this. RacerTV is brought to you by Mountain Dew, by Rocky Mountain ATV MC, by Can-Am, and by Amsoil. We're going to let them loose here on a muddy racetrack. When you come and race in late summer like we do every year, you can count on pretty much every part of weather, maybe outside of snow. You're going to have heat and humidity. You're going to have some rain and mud. That's what the riders have to fight through right now. But you can see they're already slinging that mud off. Some riders having more success with that than others. The qualifying sessions, there's 2 of them every Saturday morning, and they'll lay down their fastest lap times, and that'll determine the gate selections for the motos. But it's also bragging rights as well. Hey, there's Joe Bird, the veteran out of Tennessee, former series champ. Always good to see him at the races on the familiar number 7. We've talked about the number 1 of Chad Wienen a lot this year. Pressure completely off of him. And I believe he's ridden a little bit conservatively throughout the season looking for points. It'll be interesting to see what he does when he can completely uncork it and throw all caution to the wind. Joel Hetrick here, who we talked to earlier, looking fast. You always have to watch for riders like John Natale, last year's winner at this race, Thomas Brown, all trying to tame this place. That's the 10 Commandments. Perhaps the most difficult whoop section we'll take on all year. Sean Taylor getting through there. At 10 Commandments, just virtually impossible to get any kind of rhythm going. You're just clipping the top of those jumps, and then the fast line will change throughout the race. And Jeff Rastrelli, who's had a real strong surge in the second half of this 2014 campaign, starting to come into his own. Young man out of Florida, he and Hetrick forming a great 1-2 punch for Can-Am. But Wienen, with that pressure off, showing what he's got. Fastest in qualifier number 1. Shout out to Josh Kramer, another former series champ, showing some speed as well. He's on the BCS Can-Am. Track got better, less muddy here in the second session. You see all the sand they put down helped absorb some of that, and Josh Upperman taking advantage of those conditions puts in the fast qualifying time. And Upperman on the Baldwin Motorsports Honda is always fast off the start. You give him a good gate pick and look out for him in the first turn. So that's our qualifying sessions. Let's check in with a few more riders, including Thomas Brown, who won this race last year. It was the first win of his career.
We're here at Loretta Lynn's. Final race of the year. We're sitting third in points, 11 points behind Joel, and only 5 ahead of Natalia. Really need a clean weekend. Basically, all I can do is go 1-1 and hope for the best. We're really hoping for a little bit of dry weather, and I'm ready, and see what we can do.
Yeah, great battle for second, still shaping up, as is the first moto, and look, the sunshine is out. We'll be racing the fastest AT motocross riders on the planet. More time in 2014. Moto 1 will be underway when we return here on MAV TV. RacerTV is brought to you by Mountain Dew, by Rocky Mountain ATV MC, by Can-Am, and by AMSOIL. Welcome back to the show. Jason Wygant here to give you the call. Fans packing the stands for the final round of the Mountain Dew ATV Motocross Championship for 2014. John Natale getting a kiss from his wife, who is no slouch as a racer herself. Riders and mechanics trying to pack the gates, trying to get as much traction as they can on what has been a very muddy racetrack. Josh Upperman will carry our Rocky Mountain ATV MC helmet cam. And there's that Baldwin horsepower. Upperman always good off the start, but he's going to get edged out. Chad Wienen grabs the Mountain Dew hole shot, and that's bad news for everyone. But the only thing Wienen doesn't do, maybe the best in this series, is starts. He's such a big, heavy guy. Last couple weeks, though, he's gotten them dialed in. Pressure being applied by Natale and Thomas Brown. They are now up to second and third, pushing and shoving. Whoa, Natale! That was an aggressive move, and he ended up getting the short end of the stick. So it's the Wienen Motorsports. Yamaha's now 1-2, Wienen and Brown. And Brown is the big benefactor from all that because, as we mentioned before the break, we've got a 3-rider fight for second in the series. Brown, Hetrick, and Natale all going for it. Natale's going to be in dead last. Upperman inherits third, and I believe that's Hetrick coming through next in fourth on the Mountain Dew Livewire Can-Am. And you can see the motivation of Thomas Brown in second. He knows his teammates got the title. He knows the credentials of Chad Wienen. He does not care about them right now, though. Plus, he's got the 20 draped all over him. Creeping into the picture, also the number 9 of Josh Kramer. Past the famous billboards here at Loretta's. Now the Yamaha Mechanics area. Look at Brown. He's looking for running room around his teammate underneath that Maxxis arch. Now what we call the long short chute, which leads him right into the 10 Commandments, and Brown is finding alternate lines, looking for space to get around Wienen. All these 10 Commandments, so difficult to find a good rhythm through. Sometimes you're clipping the tops and skimming over them. Sometimes you're jumping them, and that will change throughout the day. And as you see Hetrick trying to get around Upperman and Brown trying to get around Wienen, you can see why Natale was so aggressive there on the first lap. Not easy to find places to pass, especially when you've had mud. They push all that mud to the side of the track, as we mentioned, and that means you'll have one good dry line where it doesn't seem that bad. But if you go out of that, you can end up in some real deep stuff and slow you down. See, everyone's trying to just get a little bit of that cushion and hit the hard pack. Back on board here, the Rocky Mountain ATV MC helmet camera on Upperman. Oh, he gets a little wide, and Hetrick says thank you, and there's that mud and some course barriers as well. I think he just came into that corner a little bit too hot, did Upperman. Couldn't make the turn. Hetrick takes advantage. Now up front. Brown wants the exact same thing to happen to Wienen as happened to Upperman. Apply the pressure and maybe make them overcook a corner. Well, I'll tell you, Brown is a Texan through and through, but he might want to consider buying some real estate here in Tennessee. He is lightning fast at this racetrack. Last year, on a jump just like this, he actually endoed, did a complete flip, and stayed attached to the machine. He literally rolled underneath his quad, bounced back on all four wheels, was somehow uninjured, and rallied back to win the overall for the weekend. Today, hoping for smoother sailing, but the same result. Under the Maxxis arch again we go, and look at Hetrick in third. And the yellow machine starting to close up. So we can have a three-way fight for the lead, or is Wienen trying to put the hammer down and get away? They've already changed the technique just a little in those 10 commandments. They're really fighting to hit downside, the bottom ramp of some of those, to get the maximum drive. Oh no, Brown is still right there. Wienen is not checking out from anybody. You can hear the work they put in, especially in those deep sand corners. Hear the RPMs coming up. That is just all clutch right there. These 450s put out huge horsepower. No one's going to tell you for sure, state secret racing-wise, but I bet you it's north of 60 horsepower. And they still need to get up on the RPMs to get out of these corners with the pace they're running. Time now starting to run out on Brown. Uh-oh, Natali, who had that big crash early, is out of this one. The motosport.com rider is done for the Moto. Continues to be the Wienen Motorsports Yamahas in tandem up front. I have to wonder if vision is also a problem for Brown. Track has obviously absorbed a lot of moisture. That means the dirt's going to be very sticky, and he has taken a lot of roost off those Maxxis tires of Wienen. Buried deep into that berm right here. There's something in this back section that Brown is doing right. Every time I think Wienen has him covered, Brown closes back up. Now through here, Wienen able to extend it just a bit. But where can Brown find an alternate line to make the pass? Same thing Hendrick's trying to do. It's a three-rider breakaway now up front. Creamer and Upperman still fourth and fifth. Hendrick trying to make moves. Remember that battle for second in points. If Hendrick can make this pass here, he's pretty much got that thing locked up, but he's running out of time. Moto win goes to Wienen. Brown holds off Hendrick. We'll be right back. ATV Motocross is brought to you by Mountain Dew, by Rocky Mountain ATV MC, by Can-Am, and by Amsoil. We're back here at Loretta Lynn's, and so is the rain. The teams are hurriedly making tire changes to go back to the full mud setup because it has rained again. Look at that. It'll actually be sloppier for this second moto than I believe it even was in practice earlier today, which was a mud bath. Moto 1, the conditions were pretty good. Chad Wienen won it. We saw that right before break. We're going to factor in the results from this one to determine an overall win. And in the mud, the start is so critical, and Josh Creamer has it on the BCS Can-Am. Now Creamer, a New England native and all-around tough guy, not afraid of the mud at all. In fact, he's probably pumped. And what'll really make this tricky is, as you can see, the sun is back out, and that's actually worst-case scenario. Because what's going to happen is this standing water is going to dry out pretty quickly, and then you're going to be dealing with sticky mud, and that's going to make the machines very heavy, and it's going to lead to a lot of problems with vision. So if you're Creamer, well, look at the difference. He's totally clean, or relatively clean out front, and everyone else is covered. So Creamer knows the drill. Roost them, get away, take advantage. Jeff Rastrelli on the Cheerwine Can-Am, with help from JB Racing, is second. So a total flip-flop of where the results were in Moto 1. Got to put the radar out and find Chad Wienen. Well, that didn't take long. Already makes the pass on Rastrelli, and Thomas Brown, second in Moto 1, trying to follow his teammate through. And we will be guessing who they are for the rest of this moto. They're totally covered. Nah, just kidding. That is Brown. You can tell the fender design of the Yamaha. So Wienen and Brown not wasting time getting through Rastrelli to move up to second and third. Now Creamer, a bit of a disappointing season this year, I'd have to say, based on his usual standards. Only 2 podium finishes in motos this year, and they were both third. So no moto wins. So he's motivated to go get a Moto win this time. Also motivated Upperman on the number 20, starting to work his way forward and challenge those Yamahas. But even if you do catch someone, passing them in the mud is going to be so difficult, and Kramer knows it. He has yarded the field early on the number 9. Look at this. I'm telling you, these New England guys are just so comfortable in these conditions, and it shows. Wienen is up to second, but Kramer is checked out. Upperman in 4th, still keeping the Yamahas honest. Wienen would still win the overall if it ends like this. Kramer, you remember, was 4th in Moto 1. He'll go 4-1. Wienen is looking to go 1-2. Maybe the rider with the best chance to shake it up at this point would be Brown. Needs to get around his teammate Wienen and then try to catch this guy, win the Moto. He would have the overall. But that's a big what if. He's got to pass 2 riders who know how to not get passed in Kramer and Wienen. However, in the mud, you have to think of the equipment. Is everyone going to be able to just make it to the finish? RacerTV is brought to you by Mountain Dew, by Rocky Mountain ATV MC, by Can-Am, and by AMSOIL. It's ATV Dirt Days as the official name of this event, but it's Mud Days today, and Josh Kramer has shown he has not lost a step in these conditions at all. Look at the lead he has. One of the most dominant motos we've seen all year. Chad Wienen, though, in second, knows what he needs to do. He holds on to that spot. When combined with his moto win earlier today in better conditions, he'll have the overall win, and that will be a very impressive 7th overall win of the year for the big man from Illinois, who is your new and current and defending series champ. Whoa, Kramer hits an edge. Again, this mud gets piled up in spots. You want to hit it sometimes to get a little traction. Other times it'll catch you off guard. A little bit smoother is Wienen. Also, these bumps are getting bigger as far as the edges and holes, just because of all the moisture is obviously going to make the track that much softer, and they're going to dig the holes and bumps that much deeper. Josh Kramer ignoring all that. He's looking for his first moto win of the year, and he's only 1 lap away from getting it. Wienen looking for that overall win. Still digging deep is Brown in 3rd. Past the mechanics area for the last time is the veteran out of North Stonington, Connecticut, Josh Kramer. Honestly, I believe Kramer, who's back in this series full-time the last 2 seasons, after a couple of years off just racing locally up in New England, he's just missing the starts. Not been able to get the starts consistently. He knows how to win races when you give him the opportunity, and he has proven it here today. But the 4th in Moto 1 is going to hurt him dearly in the overall. Still going to feel good to get a Moto victory, but the story here at Loretta's is the same as it has been for most of the year. The other guys were fast, they were strong, they could challenge him at times. But when you total the day up completely, the consistency of Chad Wienen will win the day. There's Kramer taking the Moto win, and there's Wienen taking the overall. Yeah, might as well fry those mud tires now. You're not going to need them until next year. I'm sure they'll get a fresh set, celebrate in the podium, and talk to our top riders.
Last race of the year, and we did good. Went first moto, came out 3rd in the start, got into 2nd pretty quick and got right on Chad. Man, I just couldn't get by him. I tried everything, so we're looking forward to the second. We were looking forward to the second moto, hopefully get a start and just take it off. And the rain came in, and I was like, I have to get this whole shot. And I ended up coming about 5th or 6th in the start. Made a couple quick passes, got up to 3rd, and once again was behind Chad. Kramer was checked out, and I just couldn't get by him, so I just settled into a pace and tried not to make any mistakes. And you know, we're done with the season now. Wrapped up 3rd. I was only 1 point behind Joel at the end of the year. Tough fought battle. We had a couple good battles between us, and then he outdid me by 1 point. But we're here looking to take the next month or so off, probably next few weeks actually, and then we're going to get ready for Memorial Challenge down there in Texas in memory of Caleb Moore. So it's October 12th at Village Creek MX. Looking forward to that race. It's honoring one of my best friends, so I can't wait for it, and hopefully I can take a 2 moto win there.
We just finished up our motos here at Loretta Lynn's. Moto 1, we came out, had a good start, but got past the first couple corners and ended up 4th for the moto. Just kind of, we freight trained us first 4, so I was pretty happy with that. Just knew I needed to do better in my second one. And unfortunately, clouds opened up. It was a mud moto, but I had a great start. Just kind of did a little something different than everybody else, and got the whole shot and just, led the whole race. No mistakes. I was pretty happy about that, and I couldn't be happier to end the year on the podium with a second place finish. Just looking forward to next year. Going into next year with some momentum now.
Man, first moto ripped a holy, and man, just the Maxxis tires, the Alaska engine, and just everything working in sync. And that Yamaha, man, that thing is just ripping out there. And led it from start to finish. Had Thomas and Joel behind me, and this rode smooth. I actually cramped up really bad, and just kind of it hindered me a little bit. And second moto, man, I had a lot of work to do in between motos to get ready. And Trent, my trainer, and this dude helped me out so much and got me back out there on the racetrack. Not near 100%, but just once I got out there, I loosened up the bunch, and I was able to come out second out of the start. Man, I was pushing Creamer around that first corner, and just a lot of fun out there. And even though it was a mud race, we had a great time, and went 1-2 for the overall.
Here's the Amsoil race recap. The Mountain Dew Hole Shot Awards were key today. Wienen gets a rare one in the first moto. Then watch this pass attempt by John Natale go astray. From there, Wienen would have to deal with tremendous pressure from his teammate Thomas Brown, who's very fast on this track. But he held him off all the way to get that moto win. Then, as Josh Kramer was talking about, the skies opened up, making the Mountain Dew Hole Shot in Moto 2 even more critical. Kramer got it, and it was over from there. That guy knows how to ride the bud. He pulled away. Took his first moto win of the season, but that 4th in Moto 1 would allow Wienen to just edge him out. It was a 4-1 score versus a 1-2. Kramer, though, still happy to get the victory, rain or shine. That's it for racing this year. I'm Jason Wygant. For everyone at RacerTV, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next year.